Welcome to the Dodger Download, the official podcast of the Fort Dodge Community School District. Each episode brings you the latest updates from our schools, including school board recaps, interviews with educators, staff, and students, plus upcoming events and stories from around the district. Whether you're a parent, student, or community member, stay connected to what's happening in the Dodger Nation. Let's dive into this episode of the Dodger Download. Welcome to the Dodger Download. This is an official podcast of Fort Dodge Community Schools. I'm Superintendent Josh Porter. I'm excited to have a couple of employees from CNOS. So if you're a parent, student, or just a proud Dodger, we're glad you're listening today. This podcast is proudly sponsored by CNOS and UnityPoint Orthopedics, valued partners of Fort Dodge Community Schools. Their commitment to student athletes' health helps keep our program strong and our kids competing safely. Thank you for supporting Dodger Nation. All right, now it's time for some board tidbits. So last night we had our regular board meeting. We also had a public hearing. So, tax, it's like the dirty word. Taxes are like the dirty word everywhere in Iowa right now. But just a natural event that takes place every year for the school system. We had our public hearing. We actually had a gentleman show up. Just wanted to ask some questions. So CFO Hansel sat down with him for a little bit and met a gentleman that just wanted to attend and listen. So appreciate him for coming. No one usually attends that. So then we had our regular board meeting at 6. Pretty light agenda. So we took some action on Title I and Title IV funds, which might not mean a lot to everybody out there, but what that really is our funds. It's just funds to support different segments of our student population. They're actually going to allow us pull some of that together, and we had to have some board action on how much we're allowed to carry over and combining those funds. So it actually took something that was really complex to kind of narrow it down. So it's like having 4 accounts going down to like 2 accounts. So it does help us with management just a little bit. Mr. Chasteen, our middle school principal, did a presentation to our board on middle school literacy. And so literacy has been a big focus across the district. So we have the belief as a system, all of our admin directors, board, and principals just truly believe that if students can read and be proficient by 3rd grade, that's a big indicator of success when you're an adult and when you get into high school. So Mr. Chasteen was given a small update on literacy and what the things they're doing at the middle school and then how those scores are looking. So we've seen some small increases. We adopted new curriculum. So some of those things are still moving and improving, but appreciate him coming and doing that presentation. So that is about it for board tidbits. Well, I'm excited to get today's episode. So introduce to you guys 2 individuals that currently and will work for CNOS, a great partnership with UnityPoint Health and also now Fort Dodge Community Schools here starting in May. But I have Grant Wilson, who's a PA, and I have Rachel Sporrer, who is a current athletic training student at UNI, but will be a CNOS employee and a Fort Dodge Dodger athletic trainer here starting in May. So Grant, give us a little bit on your background maybe, and then a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in the Des Moines area, went to college, Buena Vista and Storm Lake. Then I did my grad schooling out in Ohio. My wife and I wanted to get back to Iowa, and we landed in this community back in 2015.
Awesome.
Spent the first couple years in the ER, and then started having kids and wanting to settle down, and made the move to orthopedics. Been working with CNOS for the last 6.5 years, and started working kind of covering football games and helping out around the district last year.
Yeah. What would be your specialty? What is it? What is an area that you like to work in the most?
Yeah, so I do a lot of sports med, which is kind of what drew me to start working with the high school athletes. So I enjoy kind of working with kids and trying to help them through injuries and understand how they got hurt and how we can try to get them right. Yeah, get them back on the field.
Awesome. Rachel?
So I was born and raised in Fort Dodge, kind of went to school here and everything. I was class of 2020 at Fort Dodge Senior High, actually. I went to Iowa Central for 2 years, graduated from there in 2022, transferred into UNI. I got my bachelor's in athletic training there, and then continued at UNI to get my master's of athletic training there.
Gotcha. Yeah, awesome. So I went to school Well, I took a long path in education, and I thought I was going to be an elementary teacher, and then I decided, nope, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to teach PE. Well, I didn't realize when I decided to teach PE, and then I went to Central College in Pella, that I was becoming an exercise science major. Okay, so anybody that wants to joke about PE teachers and how they go get their degree, take like physiology or kinesiology, and you'll learn something a little bit different. And you guys have probably had to take a little bit higher level of classes than that, but I remember how difficult some of those courses were when I was there, and I was with all the athletic trainers. I was just kind of the course of action. Exercise science majors were all together, and half of us went to go teach PE, and the other ones went to go be an athletic trainer. I always tell everybody, I laugh. I went and did my first field experience was at Southeast Polk High School. I was student teaching at Southeast Polk. So I went to go there, and my good buddy who went into athletic training, he got an internship to go be an athletic trainer for the Green Bay Packers. So I went 20 miles down the road to Southeast Polk. He went clear to Wisconsin, and I had a great experience there, but I'm assuming he really enjoyed being with the Green Bay Packers. So
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So awesome. Oh, I'm glad you guys are here today. How we even got to here is really interesting. So I've known Reggie Miller off and on throughout the years. I want to shout out to him and Leah just a little bit. So Leah Glasgow, the CEO of UnityPoint Health here in Fort Dodge, and they have a great partnership with CNOS and Reggie. So, we were just talking in Breedries. So bless her, she's been an athletic trainer for us for a long time. Has some young kids. Athletic training is some tough work. You put in some odd hours, right? You might not work much during the day, but then all of a sudden you're working all night long, or they need help on the weekends. And so she was looking for a little something different. We had a teaching position open that she could go full time. She moved into that role, so we started working with CNOS on our next athletic trainer. So that's how Rachel got here. So it really just shows you what collaboration works like. Yep. And we were trying to think of could we go back to our current model, and it's just a little bit more difficult. CNOS just has the state of Iowa out there for options when you're starting to look for PAs or athletic trainers. And so I appreciate them helping us, and that's how we got connected with Grant, because we needed some more support on Friday nights at football games. Obviously a guy that enjoys athletics. He does not get paid any special amount of dollars to come on Friday nights, guys, so you can yell and holler whatever you want from there, but he's for the most part is a volunteer in his time to come work with athletes and support our coaches, our staff, and he probably will still continue to partner with Rachel as we move through on Friday nights. And so that extra help and layer of support, one of the things that I want to talk about, I've had a deep love for athletic trainers for a long time. I was in Clarinda. I'm sure he's not watching this podcast. He might if I send it to him, but a gentleman by the name of Logan Wood introduced him, and he just opened my eyes to a whole nother world of what athletic training could look like, and just his all-in personality. And so I've always appreciated that, and my love and appreciation for athletic trainers has just kind of continued to grow. And then I transitioned to Fort Dodge, and I've had an experience with Bree, and now we have PAs on the sidelines, which I think is a big deal. So I think I just want to get to ask you guys a little bit, what do you see as just your key role? If families are wondering, like, hey, why do we need a PA on the sidelines, or why do we, we have an athletic trainer, but can't we just go to the doctor? Things like that. I think just seeing it, knowing it, I would love to have you guys maybe talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I can start.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Go ahead, Rachel.
So basically what I wanted to be able to do in the high school setting is really focus on rehab and like getting these kids back to their full athletic performance sooner. Typically kids go to the doctor, their doctor is not specialized in orthopedics, doesn't really know sports medicine. So they're like, oh, sit out a couple weeks, ice, ibuprofen, that kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas I will be able to like work with the athletes and keep them in play just in a more limited capacity until full return to injury or pre-injury. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So kind of keeping them playable while hopefully speeding up the recovery process a little bit quicker for them.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I like to think of myself kind of in two roles. On Friday nights, I'm there as both kind of a point of contact if the trainer needs anything or athlete needs anything. But I, God forbid anything more significant happens. I like to be on the sidelines in that scenario, just in case. Contact sports, there's always potential for something pretty significant. And then also as a kind of a point of contact, if you get hurt on a Friday night and Monday morning you're not right, I like to be a face that your folks feel that they could reach out to if they need to say, hey, we need to have you look at this, get some x-rays. Are we thinking there's something that is significant? We're talking MRIs or referrals to therapy, or am I just going to kind of communicate with Rachel like I have with Bree, of like, hey, I don't think there's anything too gnarly here going on, and this is probably something we can work through.
Yeah. We used to talk a lot about, because when I was going to school, athletic training, it was just very minimal of a service, right? It wasn't hardly even established, and that was in the late 90s, right, and early 2000s. So it's kind of picked up since then, and I know that in some of my experiences, the whole goal was, hey, how do we get you healthy and get you back on the field or court as fast as possible and in the safest way possible, right? And some people get worried that athletic trainers or doctors or whatever want to just keep people out, but no, they really want to rehab and get you back out there.
Yeah. No, it's a balancing act. I mean, you want to ideally get the athlete out as soon as you can, get him back out there playing, but you got to do right by the kid. Life is long, and you treat things the right way. It's a balancing act.
Yeah, 100%. I think with your availability on the sidelines and our relationship and connection with Rachel here, I think one thing that I think people don't think about is all the resources that we actually have here in Fort Dodge and the services we can provide. And, a lot of times people will get nervous and think, oh, I need to go to Ames or I need to go to Des Moines because it's bigger. Right. What would you guys what would that conversation say? And a lot of it is about relationship and comfortability, right? But what I think I learned from Reggie and Leah was that we have some really high quality surgeons right here in Fort Dodge, and we can meet a lot of people's needs. And so I don't know if you guys have any thoughts or feedback on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's very few things that we can't tackle here. I work in close proximity with Dr. Anand, who's one of our surgeons, who is a sports medicine fellowship trained guy. So, I mean, we do a lot of sports med injuries. We have great success with getting the patients / athletes back out on the field without any significant issues. And a lot of that just comes from familiarity, which is another reason why I'm on the field is, if you know a face and you see a guy and you trust a guy, then you're more likely to kind of trust us with your athlete.
Yeah. I think there's a big difference between calling or texting Rachel and then Rachel getting a hold of you, then you waiting till Monday and calling a doctor on the phone, right? Yep. Like you guys could speed those things up and, and help out our coaches. And so, we're working on some things from the coaching aspect too, right? Like we got to get our coaches familiar with these two individuals. They're going to be pretty. Grant's a little bit new, not quite new to some of that realm, but Rachel will definitely be new. And I think some of the education on our part is what I've kind of told our staff. Like we got to do do a better job of educating and getting them to know you guys. Right. Get an opportunity to get you guys in front of all the coaches to talk about, hey, this is what it could look like. This is what we could offer, and this is how we could help you.
Yep.
Well, even in the sense that we can fast track doctor's appointments, because you might have to wait a couple days, couple weeks to get into doctors in Ames and Des Moines. I feel like we can just speed up that process a little bit. Like I can contact the office at the UnityPoint and see what we can do to get the athletes seen sooner.
Yeah, I like to think I'm pretty casual and pretty approachable. I've had Bree hit me up in the evenings or whatever. Hey, I had an athlete get hurt tonight in practice. What can we get him in the morning or whatever?
Yeah.
I try to squeeze people in. And if I'm tied up in the OR or something, I'll shoot a message to one of the other surgeons or one of the other APPs and say, hey, I got this athlete, there's a concern about, the knee or the shoulder or whatever. And can you find space to get him in, and get the process going?
Yeah. That's awesome to have that connection and service, and it doesn't just happen by chance, right? So, there's got to be some intent to those things to help provide a great service for our student athletes.
Yeah.
What would you guys, what is the most difficult part about, what you do on a daily basis or even on a Friday night or, Go ahead. It's all yours.
I think the biggest part for me is being prepared for those emergency situations. They're bound to happen. I'm still very new to athletic training, coming off like I'm graduating in May. So I just don't have that experience. And having Grant Wilson on the sidelines, like that's going to help me a lot because he's seen those situations before. He's better at knowing those situations, how to handle them, like we'll work in collaboration when those things happen, but kind of just being prepared for when those things happen, not really an if.
And the good part is Bree's not leaving.
Yeah,
so
she'll still be around.
She's still at the school, and we've talked about using her as a backup when we need a backup, and hopefully we don't need that very often. But you know, it's nice to have that resource still right here.
Yeah, I mean, kind of to play off that, you know, in the moment. So like whether I'm covering districts at wrestling or on a Friday night with football, the hard part is just the anxiety. I mean, you have to kind of mentally at least think about what could happen.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the day or week, the hard part is bad news, you know, like seeing an athlete, hey, you know, it's the middle of the season and my knee's bugging me. And then it's like, dude, we got to shut you down. You need surgery or whatever, you know. I do not like telling athletes it's done. You know, the season's over. You know, that's tough.
It's sad for kids and families.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So on the opposite end of that, like what does a feel good, like successful story look like?
Honestly, just getting an athlete back as soon as possible, especially if they've had like an ACL tear. Those take months, and just seeing them fully back into their sport, even physically, mentally ready. And just seeing them have fun and enjoy their sport again after something that is devastating and can be a career ender, but it's just not. And I think that's what makes kids so resilient, is that they just push themselves to be better. Yeah.
I mean, with athletes getting back on the field and getting them right is I mean, it's a win. And, you know, with the older population, you know, getting, you know, whether it's a fracture that's healed well and you're back to normal, or you know, after surgery, if you're back to the way you want to be with a good quality of life, you know, winning feels good.
Yeah. Everybody loves to win.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard, but everybody loves to win. No one truly likes to lose at anything, right? I mean, I try to share that with people all the time. It doesn't matter if you're the superintendent or if you're playing basketball or football or if you're in your guys' roles. Yeah. So Grant, a question for you, like what does a normal day look like for you when you're not at the football field, and what kind of services do you offer just outside of, you know, hey, if you're at the football field on Friday night, I can help you.
Yep. Yeah. So my schedule's a little variable day to day. As a PA, I have clinic days where I'm a clinician that sees patients, athletes, and I kind of take care of them and triage them kind of simultaneously. You know, if it's a non-surgical issue, I typically manage the patients, you know, whether it's follow-up appointments or repeat x-rays, or tracking how they're going with therapy. If it's a surgical type injury, then I refer them to our surgeons. So we have Dr. Anand, as I mentioned, Dr. Hill, and then Dr. Miller, who all provide surgical services in this community. Okay. Then my other role is assisting in surgery. So as a PA, my job is to essentially be a second set of hands for the surgeon.
Gotcha.
And so scrub in and do whatever is needed of me in that process as the team.
Yeah.
And so any given day, I'm either in the OR or clinic typically.
Yeah.
And then I do some outreach.
What building do you work out of?
So I'm over in POB West, which is the clinic on the kind of the northwest side of the hospital.
Oh, gotcha. Down by the old emergency or emergency?
Close to that. So if you know where like peds, bullfight clinic.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
I'm on the third floor over there.
Yeah, I just didn't know where you were located. So.
Yeah, and then we do our surgeries at the hospital.
Yep. My son had a little knee banged up his knee, I think a year ago or so, or a year and a half ago. And we went to the specialist clinic. Matt Moore, who was a former school board member of ours. You know, I had his cell phone number, and happened on a Saturday, of course, wrestling, and got bent the wrong way, and it puffed up a little bit. And so we were a little nervous, so we went in and saw Matt, and I didn't know if you were located at the specialist clinic or at the
other
hospital.
side of town, right over by the hospital, yep.
Right by the hospital, out at the hospital. So awesome. Well, Rachel, do you know what your day-to-day is going to look like yet? When you are, she's always been a Dodger. She's been a Panther the last few years, and now on May she'll be an employee of CNOS, but she will be a Dodger officially. And so our goal in this whole process is that she, even Rachel, just feels like she's part of our staff, right? Like that's really important. She's going to be around people every single day, and Grant as well. Like on Friday nights, we want you to feel like you're part of the staff. You're just as valuable as everybody else that's on the sidelines and helping out. And so, have you put any thought into what that day-to-day looks like yet?
I have been told that I can like pull kids from like lunch or from a study hall, or if they have free period, I am able to pull kids in, do some rehabs with them then to kind of fast track their rehab, hopefully. So I'm hoping to be in the school kind of midday, kind of be able to work with athletes. If it's game day, practice day, a little prep there, and utilization of the new stadium athletic training room. That's pretty nice having that there. So mostly kind of focused on rehabs for the most part. Obviously in football season, putting in a lot of hours with traveling. I will travel with the football team and any other teams if I want to. But football is kind of the priority when it comes to traveling. So kind of preparing for those game days. There may be days where I don't come in as early to the high school. There may be some days I come in super early.
There's some long nights, right?
Yeah. So kind of it changes day to day kind of thing. So
awesome. And we didn't really talk about that. When you graduated, the training setup at Dodger Stadium was subpar, I would say. Is that a good word to use?
I think it was in the boys' locker room at that point, so you had to walk through there to get to the athletic training room.
It was a really big space, but not a lot available in it. Like, it just wasn't. So that new space is a lot different, right?
Yep, and I'm on the sidelines right now with Bree Dries. I'm doing my last clinical rotation with her. So
what a great opportunity, right? You get to work with the person you're going to replace here in a little bit, and you get to step right in, and it probably won't even feel like a new job on me first for the most part. Yep,
able to meet coaches, students, kind of get acquainted with them before officially taking over.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me today. And anything else that you'd like to share, or with our parents, families, community, school district? Because obviously we've been working on this a little bit. Mr. Ruffridge, Miss Laird kind of have an idea what's taking place with the athletic training at the district, but I don't know if no one else really knows. But I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to share or talk about as far as athletic training or support for Fort Dodge schools, or
can't really think of anything unless you can think of it.
Just letting families know that the resources are here. We're always happy to be involved, and like I said, I try to be pretty easy to reach out to, or pretty informal. So if anybody ever has any questions or anything, for sure, we're here in town. We've been here a long time and getting a new surgery center, so we keep on growing. And
that's right. One of the things I kind of thought about is with our partnership with CNOS, I think we will start using Healthy Roster. Is that correct?
I'm hopefully going to get that figured out and set up this summer.
I thought so. So Healthy Roster, I have experience with that. Okay. And I think that's one of the things we'll be able to work on.
So Healthy Roster is an online documentation thing. It's all on an app. Parents can see I think doctors might have access to be able to see some of that kind of thing.
I would imagine if there's some sort of consent.
Like send over kind of what I'm doing. So it's online documentation over everything. Coaches have access, athletes, parents. So it's kind of a fast track documentation and communication between me and everyone else involved.
Yeah. One of the things that has always been a struggle, and then when I think we moved to Healthy Roster in Clarinda, one of the things that it really cleaned up was that communication piece, right? So, because it's really hard. You may see 10 kids in a row.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get in contact with the coach, get in contact with the parents, let them know what they're able to do. Or is the coach calling the parents? Or you calling them? Like, that is always like, okay, hey, we're going to refer them on. So how do I explain to Grant what I've been doing with John? And now, through consent, of course, everything, we'll have consent, everything to share that. But Healthy Roster does help with that. And so, if a student would come in and see Rachel, once she's done with the evaluation, she would put the information in Healthy Roster. That goes right to the parents, goes right to whatever coaches that have access to it, or coaches that sports that they're in. It doesn't go to just every single coach, which really cleans up that communication big time.
Yep. And all I ask of the parents is that they just give me a chance. I know I'm new. I'm still pretty early in the healthcare field, but if I can get your kid back quicker, I'm going to do what's in their best favor. And
and they will. I mean, parents will give you a chance. I mean, the school offers a pretty nice service. If we didn't have an athletic trainer, and if Grant didn't show up, we didn't have partnership with CNOS or UnityPoint, we would literally be like, hey, you just got to go to the doctor. Well, you know what happens when you continue to go to the doctor? You pay a lot of money. Lots of money. So, we appreciate that. And I think Healthy Roster, and I would also say along the same lines is communication is probably one of the most important things that happens.
Yeah. I think that's probably been the nicest component, is just that ability to kind of keep things consolidated and make sure that communication's working both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sounds good. Again, just want to thank both of you for taking time from what you got going on and your you leaving work and your clinical, experience here. Kind of what's happening around Fort Dodge right now. We had our first home track meet of the year. We had our boys Dodger Relays last night. For all the bad weather that we've had, it was a beautiful night last night to run a track meet. A little bit windy, so
it was a little windy.
We were watching radar.
on that home stretch, the wind was kind of in your face. We've had some really good early success in boys track, and when you have Noah Daniel who's running sub 11s in the 100 and anchoring your 4x1, like you're going to be pretty fast. But the spring hasn't been pleasant to us. I went to a soccer game last week. I think it was like 34 degrees out. Yeah. Everybody's wearing coats and blankets, and I'm out there watching, and the soccer official is running around in shorts, and I'm like, what is he doing?
Me and Bree are just in our little weather pod.
You and Bree were in weather pods hanging out. So that was so the spring has been a little bit rough. My daughter is in track, and she's. It's been hit and miss. I think they maybe have had one track meet, so far. So it looks like moving forward, we're going to get a little bit better, more spring appropriate weather. Yeah. And I like to golf, and this is really slowing down my approach. I don't know if it's going to help my game if I get out there any earlier. So
at least you have an excuse when the weather's kind of crappy.
I'm sure there's other ways I could practice. I just don't have time to practice. I have time to go golf, and that's about it every once in a while. So. Once again, this podcast is proudly sponsored by CNOS and UnityPoint Orthopedics, valued partners of Fort Dodge Community Schools. Their commitment to student athletes' health helps keep our program strong and our kids competing safely. Thank you for supporting Dodger Nation. Next week, so starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is the 23rd, 24th, 25th, is our 99th running of the Fort Dodge Community Schools musical. So the Addams Family. So if you have not seen where to buy tickets, I highly encourage for individuals to go out and purchase tickets for our musical. So we have tons of talent, all the way from our athletic fields to our activities. And, we have some that are also in tennis and track and but that also in soccer, and they also participate in the musical, which is really awesome to see. So tons of collaboration there to make that happen, because I know that Lindy Krug and Matt Dries, who are in charge of the musical, and there's other people involved that have high expectations, and it's very intense. And so I know that they are expecting a lot of time from those individuals. So if you see a tennis kid that gets up in the morning and lifts weights, goes to school all day, goes to tennis practice till 5, and then gets home at 10 from rehearsal, or tech week, I think is probably upon us right now. Like, they're tired, right? So make sure you eat well, hydrate, take care of yourself so you can perform on all levels. But the Addams Family will be a great show. Excited. 99th largest running high school musical in the nation. Oh, wow. So it's right here in Fort Dodge, Iowa. So that's pretty cool. So big hiring time for Fort Dodge Community Schools. So we have a few open positions. I will tell you, it is good to see the pool of candidates is kind of increasing as far as teaching and coaching, which is out of the norm, I think, in all of public education. So we've had some retirees, so you have to fill some people. We've had some families that, have relocated, so we have a few teaching positions here and there. But, the next month or so will shake out. And, we've had some really good luck early on of bringing in a few new families, and then also bringing in some individuals. So, excited for that. And it's kind of tough right now because we're ending a school year and then we're getting ready to start another school year. So, while a lot of people are thinking about graduation and that's the only thing that's going on, I'm thinking about who we're going to hire, who we're going to get on for next year, what onboarding looks like, what does August look like. And, sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow or right now or the next hour, but my staff has been amazing and tried to help us get that organized and go forward. So, All right. So, hey, I want to thank Grant and Rachel once again for joining this episode of Dodger Download. Just learning a little bit more about athletic training and being a physician assistant and CNOS and our partnership with the schools. So, take an opportunity to watch the episode, follow, like, on all of our social media pages. And thanks for joining us. Go Dodgers.
Yeah, go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
Thank you for listening to the Dodger Download, your source for all things Fort Dodge schools. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share with your friends, family, and fellow Dodgers. For more update and resources, visit us at fdschools.org or follow the Fort Dodge Community School District on social media. Until next time, keep showing that Dodger pride. This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.